I was in Kendall Bait and Tackle, and I saw the Osprey reels. Right? Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And Nelson, who's the owner of, I told him, listen, would he be interested in talking to the club about the reels and some of the, and actually your rods too. Do you guys represent Bull Bay rods too? Or
so Bull Bay Rods is a separate company. They're out of Lakeland, Florida. We're based out of Tampa, Florida. But Bull Bay Rods is about 45 minutes north of us. They kind of started around the same time we did, a really good group of guys. And we've kind of grown together, if you will. So it's not our brand exactly, but we do work closely with those guys as we love their products.
And I saw the Osprey reels there, and I was, they were a nice looking reel and stuff. It's something I want to purchase. And then I asked them, you think that they would be interested in talking at the club? And Nelson gave me his number. So I said, he said he's a real nice guy to give him a try. And here he is. So he's going to talk about Osprey reels and whatever else that you want to talk about, Cael.
Cool.
As far as product or
What do you
anything.
think? Tell us where you fish and what do you
And also fishing too.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. So it's nice to be here. It's cool to join your club and meet you guys and get to know you. First and foremost, my name is Cael Wilson. I am from Tampa, Florida, and I am the sales director for Florida Fishing Products. We're a new company, a young group of anglers trying to make a difference in our industry. And try to do things a little bit differently. Here we are 4 years later, and the hard work's starting to pay off. So pretty neat to be a part of. But first and foremost, I grew up fishing here in Tampa Bay. We have a pretty incredible fishery here in Tampa Bay that a lot of people don't know about. We can leave the boat ramp and target, 15 to 20 different species just because being the Tampa Bay is so diversified. It's an incredible fishery. Grew up on the flats with my dad, getting pulled around, sight fishing, throwing a fly rod, and my love for conservation and fishing all started when I was a kid. So that's where it all started. But a little bit about Florida Fishing Products is, again, we are a young group of anglers trying to change the game a little bit. We started 4 years ago. We kind of looked around the industry, thinking what could we do differently? What could we do to make a change? And we noticed that the big companies that were out there in the fishing reel business weren't doing much for conservation. I'm definitely not here to speak bad about any of the companies. They all make an incredible product and met some really awesome people in the industry. But we wanted to take our knowledge from fishing and put that into fishing reels. Whether it be conservation efforts, whether it be customer service, we've really worked hard to change the game a little bit. So first and foremost, we came out with the Osprey. It's our original reel. No shops wanted to carry our products. Nobody wanted anything to do with us. And so what we did is we weren't going to take no for an answer. We went to fishing guides. Nobody breaks a reel quicker than a fishing guide. And so when we would give them to fishing guides, they would break them and they'd come back and say, hey, you need to fix this in your design. Hey, you need to fix this in your design. And through that feedback, we've made an incredible product. So we started off, again, 4 years ago with the goal to get back to conservation. The owner, his name is Ty Nelson. I'm actually just the sales director. I don't own the business. And Ty Nelson grew up on the Caloosahatchee River in Fort Myers. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Lake O discharges and things of that nature, but he watched his fishery in the Caloosahatchee decline heavily. Ty has a school of about 340-inch snook he follows around every year. And when he noticed that the school wasn't as big as it used to be, he just said them to give back. And that's exactly where Florida Fishing Products started. So here we are 4 years later. We have two different reel options. We make fishing reels, fluorocarbon, and braided line. Just things that we think are crucial in the inshore flats fishing game. So first I'm going to show you our newest reel. It's going to be the Osprey Carbon Edition. This is a sight fisherman's dream. What we did with this reel is we wanted to make something extremely light, extremely smooth, that's going to pretty much extend your day on the water for throwing artificials, even live bait, just something you're going to cast all day long. You're going to really want, the lightness of the carbon edition. So we came out with this one. This is actually an upgraded reel of our original. It's going to pretty much what we did is we made a carbon-based body. We got rid of the normal roller bearing. I don't know if you've ever owned a high-end reel and had roller bearing issues. What we did with this reel is we put some rubber sealed bearings in it. Again, it's just going to extend that bearing life. And then the main bearing, which is on the main drive shaft in the body, is also going to be a rubber sealed bearing. The second reel we have out is pretty much made for live bait fishermen. It's going to be made for live bait guys, people who fish from land, fishing guides, people who are a little harder on gear than your average fisherman. What we decided is there's two guys out there. One guy wants the lightest, smoothest thing he can get his hands on. They like the lightness, they like the smoothness, they like the really strong drag. And then you got another guy who doesn't care how much it weighs. He just wants it to be a workhorse. He wants it to hold up to the test and to get fish in the boat, if you will. So at first, again, it was one reel, and we decided that to better suit our customers, we wanted to come out with two reels, one for each guy is the main goal there. Another cool thing about Florida Fishing Products is 3% of everything that we sell we put into conservation efforts. We try to work with the companies that are actually putting the money at the forefront of the fight as opposed to taking a huge salary, which you wouldn't believe how many conservation people just take money and put a small percentage back in. So we donate 3% of our sales to Captains for Clean Water, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with, Bonefish Tarpon Trust, and people like that are at the forefront of the fight. Another cool thing about Florida Fishing Products is we are all fishermen. We think we understand how to take care of people a little better than some of these big corporations. The corporations, again, not to here speak bad about them. I've used every which reel you can use, and they all make an incredible product. At the end of the day, we wanted to take care of the customer a little more. So we do things a little bit differently. We understand that salt water is salt water, and that, if you're going to go use, I don't care if you go buy a Stella or $1,000 whatever, salt water will have its way at the end of the day. So we wanted to really try to, combat that one, and then take care of you on the back end too. So for our customer service that we offer with our reels is a little different. Like I said, so on all of our spinning reels, we do a 1-year warranty. Pretty standard in the industry, but where we kind of set ourselves apart is we do all the service work ourselves. We keep all the parts in stock here in Tampa, Florida. We do not send the reels out to be worked on. We do it all ourselves. And what that does is it cuts the turnaround time from 6 to 8 weeks to 10 days. And it's kind of one of those things.
Say that
7
again.
to
7 to 10.
7-10
Yep.
days.
So if you ever had an issue with one of our products in the first year, whether you dunk it, whatever, you can send it back to us here in Tampa, Florida, have your reel back in 7 to 10 days, completely rebuilt. And then another cool thing that we offer, which is my favorite part of the whole deal, is after a year. Once those reels are no longer under warranty, so once those reels are over a year old, I don't care if your grandson sticks it in your live well or you throw it and somebody steps on it. I've heard about every horror story in the book at this point. But we offer you a lifetime $35 rebuild. And so what we're trying to do there is, at the end of the day, these bearings that go in these reels are no more than $2. And for so long we were being charged an arm and a leg, and we wouldn't see our reel for 6-8 weeks. And we really wanted to do something about it. So we do a lifetime rebuild policy of $35. So say your reel goes down, you catch a 100-pound tarp on your 2,500, and which it can happen. For $35, Florida Fishing Products is going to cover shipping to and from. So if you call Florida Fishing Products and say, hey, I got an old reel, something's going on with it, you'd pay $35. I would email you a shipping label. You would stick the label to the box, and within 7 to 10 days, you're going to have a fully rebuilt reel. New gears, new bearings, new handle, new spool, whatever it needs to get you back on the water. And that's just our way to stand behind product. Being that we're a new company and we're young, we really got to show the people, what these things are made of. I have fishing guides here in Tampa Bay, all the way up the East Coast, Texas, Louisiana, you name it, that use our products. And what we found is they last a long time. They do really well. If you can last a year on a guide's boat, run 300 trips a year, you got a really good product. A lot of our guides tell me the main things they say. I've never had a reel last me a year. And some of these guys are on their third year with the reels. So they're doing really well for us. Again, with that service, it's just our way to stand behind the product and try to make sure, we understand at the end of the day. Every one of us that's worked for Florida Fishing Products understands the frustration of saltwater and spinning reels. Anything with 130-some moving parts is going to have issues after a while. But it's how the company takes care of it. And that's the difference that we're trying to make. So,
Awesome.
you guys have any questions about when we started, the reels, anything like that?
What are the price points on the reels?
So the saltwater series we have is a 3,000 all the way through an 8,000. So it's going to be a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, and an 8. The 3,000 starts at about $164.99, and then the 8,000, which is the largest size, is going to go for about $219.99. So what we did is we tried to make that high-end quality product, but also keep the price point to where you're not spending $400 on a reel. So, and then the carbon edition, that one's going to be a little bit of a step up. That's going to be this one here. This one it starts at a 1,000 and goes all the way up to a 4,000. So it's a 1,000, 2,500, and 3,000 and 4,000. And the 1,000 starts at $179.99. And the 4,000 ends at $209.99. So it's kind of depending on what you like to do. If you like to go up into Chuckaluska, Everglades City, and throw, plastics, you want that carbon edition. It's going to be lightweight, extend your day. If you're going to go snapper fish on some structure, maybe some gag grouper, then you're going to want to go with the saltwater series, as the big machine cut gears in there are made to pretty much just be a workhorse.
What does the 3,000 carbon series run, Cael?
The 3,000 carbon series runs $199.99.
Okay, thanks.
When would those be available?
And they are available now. Kendall Bait and Tackle, I'm sure they have some. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Bite Me Bait Shack. We have a good amount of retailers down there in South Florida that are doing really well with the product.
Good.
You can buy directly from you guys, right? On the website.
Yes, you can. You can absolutely buy directly from us. Obviously, my first inclination is to try to support the small tackle shops. Those are the guys that keep our industry alive and have been doing it for so long. So if at all possible, absolutely, we do sell them on the website. You can have it shipped to you if that makes sense for you. But always going to try to get you to go to the tackle shop, because those guys play such a big role in our industry.
Do you offer any combo?
So I actually use the Bull Bay rods, which Henry was actually asking me about earlier. They're another company out of Lakeland, Florida, a like-minded bunch of guys. They make an incredible product. At the beginning of my time here at Florida Fishing Products, the owner of Bull Bay wanted me to try one of their rods, and I said, brother, I use St. Croix rods, and I'm very picky, and I'm going to tell you what's wrong with this rod. And he said, that's what we want. I have 6 Bull Bay rods now. He won me over. He took a medium action rod and touched the tip to the reel seat, and I said, all right, I'm interested. Let me see what you're working with.
Can you explain to us? I know I've seen it a million times, but what the differences between medium and the soft tip and all that stuff?
Absolutely, man. So pretty much how it goes on fishing rods is so just to give you a better example, for my 4,000, I run a medium heavy fast action tip. Medium heavy is going to mean the backbone of the rod. It's going to mean it's got a little stiffness. I use that 7.6 medium heavy for getting snook out of docks, bridges, stuff like that. Obviously, our snook are a little smaller than what you guys got down there. But You know, that's what I kind of use. And then the tip is going to be the action. So the fast action. So if you imagine you have a tip of a rod, you know, going straight up, and you have a line and the action, the tip. So the medium heavy is going to go with how stiff the blank is, the backbone, etc. The tip. So when you have a fast action tip, if you imagine that you have, here's your tip, and then there's going to be a line off and a crankbait. When you move that rod, you know, when you move that rod, it's going to move the action faster. So that's where that fast action tip, you know, so when they say medium light, slow action, that means that tip has a lot of play in it. So when you move it and you twitch it, it's not going to move your bait as fast. So when I have like a 4,000 on a medium heavy 7.6 with a fast tip, that's going to be for crankbaits, for things that I want to move quickly, you know, that where the fish are more of a predatorial fish, they want a faster moving bait, so they can come at that bait a little. You know, when you catch a snook, you know how they're not afraid to hit a bait going real fast. And then you might work into some fish where wintertime, you're going to want to go with the slower action because those fish don't want to work hard for the bait.
Hey, that's interesting. Any questions, guys, at all? Herman, anything?
Well, the like the 4,000, you know, how much line is that going to hold? Because if I put, if I got a 4,000 reel, usually I wind up putting backing on it, mono backing or something like that, and then put the braid on at the end. So how would you rig it that way if you're going to use braid?
So on our 4,000, it really
12-pound braid.
Okay, 12-pound braid. So it's just going to go based off the diameter of the braid that you use. If you're going to throw 12-pound braid on a 4,000, you know, you're going to fit 250, you know, at least yards, because the thinner the diameter of your braid, obviously the more the spool is going to fit. So say if you put 20-pound braid on your 4,000, you might only get 150 yards. The smaller you go with that braid, the more you're going to be able to fit on there. So I'd say with a 4,000 and 12-pound braid, we'll just say 15 to be safe. You're going to get about 220 yards on there, depending on how much backing. But something that I've learned over time is I always err on the side of putting more backing than normal, because what I've noticed is every time I go get new braid, I never got to that bottom 50 yards. You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay. Any other products that you want to talk about, Cal?
So no, we just have the fishing reels, the fluorocarbon. Are you guys familiar with fluorocarbon? Do you use a lot of that for your leader material?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah, so we make some fluorocarbon that's pretty interesting. It took a lot of R&D for us to put our stamp on it and for us to get it how we wanted it. So our claim to fame with our fluorocarbon is going to be memory. I don't know if you've ever bought any of the high-end fluorocarbon, whether it's, you know, Seagar, Yozuri, carbon. But you know when you pull it off the spool, how it'll coil up on you? That's the memory. That's the memory of the fluorocarbon. So what we did with our fluorocarbon is we made it softer. It's going to be every bit of abrasion resistant and every bit as strong as our competitors. But where our stuff shines is going to be 75 to 80% less memory. So when you pull it off the spool, it'll literally just kind of fall across your lap. So when it comes to tying knots on the go or throwing a fly rod, there's really nothing like it.
Yeah, that's great, because anytime I rig up, I always stretch out my fluorocarbon because I want it to be nice and straight. I don't want it to affect my lure.
Absolutely.
So
What diameter do you offer?
Sir?
What kind of diameter do you offer on the fluoro?
I don't have it in front of me, to be honest. I think it's more on the thin side. I think if you checked out, I mean, it's going to be very comparable to Yozuri and Seagar. It's not the diameter that we really worked on to change. It was that memory. So when you take our 25-pound fluorocarbon and pull it off the spool, it will literally just lay across your lap. It's kind of a neat thing to see.
And did you some manufacturers went with some that are like in a brown finish and stuff like that. Is that something you guys did, or?
So we went with what we call a coral. It has a pink tint to it. What we found is that pink, it's kind of weird, but in high visibility water, red or pink is the first color to disappear underwater. So if you get a pink piece of fluorocarbon and you put your rod tip down to where your lure's in the water, you'll see the line go down into the water. And man, once it hits that water, it's pretty incredible how you can't see it anymore.
Good. That's really interesting. That's something, and that's sold at Kendall Bait and also Bite Me, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Here's coming all the way from.
So right now we have it in 15 pound through 80 pound. So it's going to be 15, 20, 25, 30, 40, 60, and 80. And I do think we're going to include 50 here on this next order. My favorite fluorocarbon that I use is 25. The reason I like that so much is because it's going to have a closer diameter to the 20 pound, but it's going to be closer on breaking strength to the 30 pound. So when I'm dealing with some fish that are being a little picky, and I can't get away with 30 pound, it's amazing what bumping down to 25 will do when it comes to making a meat.
Does 15 pound have a higher breaking strength too, or?
So all of it's going to break right around what it says. So the 15 pound, it's going to break right around 15. It's extremely abrasion resistant. You know how when you catch a little snook, how it'll fray up most of your leader. That will happen, but it's pretty incredible with how abrasion resistant it is. I mean, I've had a couple 35-inch snook on 25-pound braid where or 25-pound fluorocarbon where I'm holding my breath the whole time, like, oh, here we go, oh no. And sure enough, it's done extremely well for us and other anglers alike.
Well, definitely, I'm interested because I was with David Glavin and I had a snook cut me off, and I was using 30, and then I went up to 40, thinking that I needed to go up to 40. So. Which is probably might not have been the right thing to do or whatever, but
it kind of depends at whether the water's dirty, you're going to get away with a little bit bigger fluorocarbon. Am I there?
Yeah. Kind of breaking.
Okay, sorry guys. Sorry, when you guys freeze, I worry. If the water's dirty, obviously you're going to get away with a little bit bigger diameter. If you're fishing at night, you're going to be able to go to, they'll almost eat straight braid at night. But it's just kind of, if you're back in, Biscayne Bay or somewhere in there and the water visibility is really good that day, you might want to go down a size. If you see that it's a little murky, you can get away with going up a little bit.
Right.
Oh.
Awesome. That's Ellie.
Oh, hey.
She's 100 pounds.
That's awesome.
Any other questions, guys? Anything for this gentleman? Well, Cael, that was fantastic. Thank you for joining us. And like we said, this is going to be up on YouTube. So you basically just ran a commercial for YouTube as well. So we don't have many followers, Herman.
No, but hey, advertise it and tell your friends.
Yeah.
All right, I will.
We have a guide. We post it up, so it's going to be a good collection.
Yeah, it's starting to get a good collection. We have all our guides, and you're on there now, so it's something.
And another way I can help, Henry, is we have a lot of really incredible fishing guides that represent our company. So if you're ever in a pickle and would like a good guide to talk, I can absolutely try to help you in that regard as well.
Oh boy,
that would be awesome.
I just got my Christmas present. Thank you.
Don't give us more than 10 at a time.
Something good.
So you're going to see an email from me next week, tomorrow.
That's fine, man. That's fine. And it was a pleasure talking to you guys. And obviously, if you ever have any questions about our product, you can obviously either message us, give us a call. We're a like-minded group of guys that are really trying to make a change, and we love to work with whoever is willing. And we want to just try to to take care of you guys and change the game a little bit with this whole fishing reel thing.
Excellent, and I appreciate that. We really appreciate that because we've had Captains for Clean Water over at the club, and we've had those speakers, and it's really important. We just had Benny Blanco a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And that was really important. So we really believe in that, and we support that. We sent the support and everything like that. So
awesome, man. Yeah, Benny actually uses our reels, and we actually approached Benny with he's just a great steward for his fishery. At the end of the day, if we can all try to make a difference, try to show the kids growing up how to properly handle a fish. That keeping fish. Keep enough if you want to eat some fish, but don't keep more than you're going to eat, and just kind of a sustainable way to move forward. We can make a serious change and get the fishing better than it's ever been. You know what I mean? That's the goal. So our goal is if we can make conservation-minded angling cool again for all these young kids starting to fish, we think we can make a big difference.
Cal, would it be okay if I added you to our email list?
Sure.
And basically, you'll be getting all the emails that I send out. And if you're ever in town in Miami, come by and come to one of our meetings. You're always welcome.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I would love to. And I really, once this COVID thing clears up a little, I'll get back on the road again, seeing my retail shops and things of that nature. So I'll definitely down in South Florida. We'll have to get together, guys.
Yeah, and you'll see when we communicate with our club outings and stuff. You're always welcome. Just, send me a line. Hey, I might come to this outing. And we always get together afterwards and have a nice lunch. So you're always welcome for that. I'll add you to the list. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you, guys. And like I said, if there's any way I can help you guys, I'm happy to do it.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cal.
Thank you.
Awesome, guys. You guys have a good night, all right? Stay out of trouble, you hear?
Bye.